Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ & Sons and our Planet Coaster series. As you have seen just in that quick little entrance here, that we are starting a new area of the park, going over a brief overview on the stream of what we had done before and kind of where the park is going and how we're sealing it off. Now, I did finally put in staff buildings, so we are having a major staff, I wouldn't say exodus, but close to it. Of all of them going to go get some rest. So that's kind of what we're looking at on the other side. So in this side, what we're trying to figure out to do is, because we got to fill in a lot of this space. And so I know we're going to put at least 2 roller coasters over here, right? I know that's going to happen. But one of the other things that I definitely want to put, and I need to figure out, is we have some flat rides, and I think we need some additional ones. I don't think we can stand with all that we do have right now. I think we need more. So what I'm going to be putting in are some additional flat rides. Now, at this time, I wanted to go ahead and get the coaster built first, right? So I ran a little path underneath. I did raise it up to just above it sits basically right on top of a 4-meter wall, you know what I mean? But what I wanted to do is make sure that the path could fit under, because people are going to go under that as they get in the queue for this ride. Now, I'm trying to figure out how high, or I guess really how angled this lift hill should be. I can go up to 45 degrees, that I do know. But I had to look it up on the stream, and some things are 27, 35. I just went with a 30-degree angle. I just figured that was a little bit smoother for it. And I think it controls the height a lot more. I didn't want this thing to be too much of an eyesore. So 201 feet was just that 200 marker. I didn't want it to be in that, hyper coaster realm. That's not what I was looking for. So I did lower it between the 200 foot mark, and then kind of started to go with a pretty standard hill. I did put in this early airtime hill mainly because I really enjoyed that little airtime hill on, the Iron Rattlers got it, and even who knows? It's the Texas Giants also got one like that. So I really enjoyed having that be part of it. I wanted to intertwine with the path work after that airtime hill. So that's kind of what we're seeing is how are we going to... I wanted to fill in some of that backspace, right? Now, what's funny is if you look at how the coasters actually build with using the path to kind of delete some of those supports. These wooden ones, it just shifts all the wood to one other side of it. So that was a little disconcerting, basically. I do fix that. I don't do full-blown custom supporting, not at all, but I do make it look a little bit better than what it is. But really, it's one of those things we had to get past this little section right here. And keep in mind, we're going to do some test rides on it. It is going to be pretty janky until we get it smoothed out, which will happen a little bit later on. But overall, I really like how this first little section of the park has worked out. Now, that was a little too high, so I do go through the process of lowering it all back down and so forth. So we do make sure that it does work. It's the little coaster train got caught up in the air. It does fit. It does work itself out, I do go ahead and start the whole smoothing process. I will be going over that stuff all over again. So don't worry. It does get a lot smoother from there. I just really wanted to have an early airtime mixed in with, I don't think I'd say hang time. It's more of a 0G kind of roll than anything. But that was kind of the focus of this early portion of the coaster that we are working on here. And so see, it does come out to be pretty good, pretty smooth. Some of these other portions I have to kind of smoothen out, but I understand that. And then the drop, it was at 60 degrees. I wanted to kind of make it a little bit, to give it some more speed, I make it a lot more, not a lot more steep. It goes down to 75 degrees, so it's not super steep, and it's not 90. I probably could have gone down to 80 or so. Part of me thought about going to 90 at least for a second, but chose against it. You know, it is what it is. I just figured that'd be a little bit more realistic. And we intertwine this path work here with the coaster. You'll see a lot of what I'm trying to do, really for the first time, is do a lot of the custom inversions instead of using what's in game and so forth like that. I just really wanted to give it a shot. I figured I've played this game for long enough. It's about time I give it a go. You know what I mean? And I think it turned out pretty damn good for the most part. Obviously, there are some things on there I would change, but you know what? I'm not that great of a coaster builder, so I just take it for what it is, right? Now, we're not going to get to the final detailing of the coaster. We are going to get through the coaster build and a lot of the station build as well. And that's kind of what we are focusing on in this episode. I did decide to break these up. Normally, I'd say one whole section gets itself in one episode. But the way I've seen the video get kind of choppy at times, I figured it's just better to let's just go ahead and make, let's do the coaster build as one, and then we'll go ahead and do the area build as another episode. So that's why you're seeing this thing kind of broken off into this many this segment instead of having one massively long thing. So alright, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, let y'all finish the coaster build, enjoy the music. There will be POV rides at the end, so definitely stay tuned for that. And I will be catching back up with y'all here in just a wee bit. So check in with y'all later. And I am back. So a lot has happened since we got this the design basically finished up. I'm sure y'all are all curious as to what the additional coasters are in there for. Well, let me explain. And as I'm explaining this, I realize I could have gone with a different coaster type. But I don't want to remove all the supports and then go through and do the custom supporting. That's kind of a pain in the ass, right? But the way these tall hills, and the way the wood spreads out, it's pretty annoying to look at. And if you put a path on one side, or a coaster piece on one side or something that interrupts that support, it basically for these wood ones shifts it to the other side, and it looks absolutely horrendous and ridiculous, right? So my process of getting rid of that is if I put in a couple other coaster tracks and get rid of those supports, it'll block off what's there but leave enough that I can build on top of it. And here in the video, since this, like I said, was on a live stream, just planning out kind of what we're going to do with the rest of this area, we are putting in, I haven't decided if it's just going to be a hyper. I'm fairly certain it's going to be a giga coaster though. That's going to kind of loop around that back edge, and that'll be the last coaster to go in. It's just, where do I put it in? That's kind of what we were discussing right there. That far back corner, I think, is probably where we're going to go. One, provide some nice little terrain opportunities to work with the path and so forth. But let me get back to the point. Those coasters that are put up under there, it's to get rid of the supports, but offer something that I can build on top of that looks like it would be a viable coaster support. That's pretty much what we were doing, while keeping a lot of that space open. So that was the thought behind it. I do like how they turn out. I will do those supports and stuff off camera. One, they took me forever. I've actually completed them. They took me absolutely forever to do. So it's a pretty strenuous kind of thing to see. Hello, strenuous to build. So take it for what it is. But I do that stuff off camera. They turn out looking really good. I must say. Like I said, it doesn't. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It doesn't take a lot to impress myself in this game, but I did highly impress myself on those. Not to toot my own horn, just to brag a little bit. I think it turns out really good the way they look. So don't fret about it now. It's just one of those things that the coasters got to come together. That's what happens in a lot of Planet Coaster stuff, anyways. You got to get the coaster to come together before you can really see the full picture of it all. So there's that to that. Now, what we're working on right now is the station. I know I need to cover up a lot of the path work, and God help me, sometimes these things just don't measure up the way they're supposed to, and just don't work out the way they're supposed to. Well, you know what? That's life. Things occur. So we make the best what we can. Now, it is a wooden coaster. I'm not going to go with some super modern kind of station, right? I mean, yeah, it's a hybrid. It's got a steel track, but at heart, it's a woody. So for that, I'm going to go with the wood station. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this is a Western themed ride. I really haven't thought of the name for it yet. I will say, though, if you do think of a name, definitely put that down in the comments. We will build a sign for it, or we'll do the custom little video board for it, and we'll get it put into the park. So if you think of a coaster name, let me know in the comments, or join us on Twitch over the weekends and put it in the chat. Let's figure out what we can name this bad boy. So like I said, I'm not intentionally doing a Western themed ride, if that's kind of what people are thinking, but I really wanted to. It's a wooden coaster. It's going to have a wooden station house, and y'all know how I like my station houses to be kind of open. So one, there's a lot of airflow through, plus you get to see everything instead of it being closed. So that was kind of the thought process in building this station. Now, one other thing I wanted to do is also put in, I guess you could say, different levels, height-wise, but without it being too much of a, like, just this monstrosity, right? I wanted to have the different heights within reason. That was my thought process behind the way we have this layout going right now. And this really will afford us the opportunity. One, I must say, it becomes a bigger pain in the ass than what I anticipated. A lot of different angles on the roof and so forth. But two, it looks really good. It comes out pretty solidly. So I definitely do enjoy the way this thing happened and finished up here for the... And once again, the station's not even finished built. This was, like I said, a live stream. That's where I record these from. And I think this was around a little over 2 hours of footage. Just slightly over 2 hours. I have sped it up by 4 times. So this is basically running at, I think the editor calls it 400 speed. And it's still over 30 minutes for the video. So that gives you an idea how long we actually worked on this stuff and tried stuff out before we started to, really get this thing put together the way we wanted. And you're going to see me work with the 1 meter roofs, then we got 2 meter roofs, then we got other little janky things happening in on it. And that's, once again, it's what you have to do to have a decent build, I think, is deal with the jankiness, deal with the stress, redo, more jankiness, more stress, more redoing, and then you get a product you can look at and go, wow, that looks pretty damn good. I think that's how this has turned out so far. And it took me a while to get this one kind of really going and to truly see where it was going to end up at. I wasn't too sure about that. However, like I said, it's just one of these things that came together near the end before I really started to go, okay, this has got some serious potential, to make something happen, to be a pretty good looking kind of station. And overall, some of these pieces don't always seem to fit, but I think they come together pretty good. Like I've said before, it looks good. It was a pain in the butt getting all these damn boards moved and put in there, but it's one of those things. You just got to do what you got to do, and it all comes together perfectly fine after a lot of placing these damn boards. And you're going to see, and there is going to be some camera wonkiness. I apologize right now. Some fast movements. Everybody who's played the game knows the way these camera movements work. Sometimes it shoots you across the park. That's just what's going to happen. So that kind of happened here and there while doing this, just because of the detail work in terms of getting these boards posted, or not just posted, but put in, and doing it from all the different angles and so forth. And I can tell you this, even after spending all this time doing it, I'm not done yet. All right, there's still more to be done. I know this. All right, and so it's just one of those things that does happen, especially when playing this game and wanting to put some more detail into it. You're gonna spend a while on the damn detailing stuff, and it's gonna just make your coaster or your station or anything you're building just evolve into this beast, from a simple concept in your mind to a beastly build in the game. That's kind of where we're at right now with this one. And you're seeing me kind of mess around with these boards. That's how I like to get them lined up, put it on the roof, and then use the advanced move tool. Some of them were kind of janky because those are 2 meter roofs, but that's a 1 meter topper. That's the only thing that fit. The 2 meter topper just didn't make any sense. It kind of shoots itself up. It just looked kind of crappy, so that's what we went with. So using those boards didn't exactly match up, but they were close enough that I don't think you would tell a difference. I don't think you could download the part, go in and look and go, that doesn't match, without really either trying to snap that thing apart, break everything down, or two, you've seen this video and then you do it. I'm just saying, it is what it is in that situation. But we are going to be finishing up this station build. You're going to see this detailing work going. And once again, like I say, we're not even completely finished with it in this episode. But we did run a little long on the time on Twitch for stuff that I had going on for the day. So we did cut it out here in about a minute. On this film, it's about a minute. And we are going to get into the POV ride for this coaster. Now, before we do hop into that, I do just want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it already. And definitely give us a thumbs up if you like the way this coaster is designed, you like how it looks, and you enjoy that POV ride coming up here in about 1 minute exactly from now. And be sure to hit that bell icon for all of our Champ and Sons uploads, especially when Planet Coaster 2 comes out. As we finish this park, hopefully we do get it done before Planet Coaster 2. And it'll be definitely an interesting kind of thing. I think we're about 3 episodes away from having a full-blown park tour and so forth. It just kind of depends on what else we got to take care of and what I can and cannot do off camera. So that's where I'm going to leave y'all here. Thank y'all for joining me. Definitely stay tuned. Like I say, the POV is coming up in about just a minute. So I will see y'all in the next episode, everybody. So as always, stay safe and well. Y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.